Hi everyone, so we're talking about how the stock market will do in 2019. I've made a couple of these. I think I've been doing this kind of like YouTube videos on and off. I think for about 2 years now. So I think this is my third one, predicting how the stock market would do. Back on the first one, I got it pretty much nearly spot on, but it did a lot better than what I thought it was going to do. That was in 2017, 2018. I thought that it would not do as well as 2018. I thought it wouldn't do as well as 2017. But I got that a little bit wrong because I thought the stock market, even though there's a few days left and it could recover, I thought the stocks would be up a little bit more than where they are now. I think mainly because of the top point here, that really caused the China trade war, caused a lot of the gains to go down. I think if we didn't have the China trade war, I think my prediction would have been just about right. That kind of popped up and dragged on a lot longer than I think everyone kind of thought it would. So yeah, that kind of screwed my guess up last year. But like I say, it's predictions. It's always hard to get it spot on. This is kind of just something to do for a little bit of fun and guess what's going on. It's really hard to predict where the stock market would go. If we could all predict it and get it right, then we'd all be millionaires. So it's not going to happen. But I kind of get a feel for what I think is going to happen in the stock market. So how the stock market will do in 2019. Below are a couple of really important points that I'm going to put out there before I get onto it. And then we'll get stuck, and I'll pretty much say how I think it's going to do with kind of like a percentage guess. So the China trade war kind of goes into this year as well as it has been in the last year. The big news, this is kind of on a cooling area, that we're not going to hear too much noise about this until it gets to about February time, and then we're going to see if the tariffs go on or if they can come to some sort of deal. If extra tariffs get put on in February and it carries on going in through the year, we could be in for a little bit of a rough ride again this year. Companies that should be up a lot higher than what they are won't be able to go up if that carries on. It'll also go into affecting quite a few other companies because the next kind of round of tariffs could really affect companies like Apple, so they could struggle to go up until that to February. Companies like Alibaba that should be a lot higher. Alibaba, I've said on this channel, should be around about the 250 range if it weren't for this. We'll see if that gets sorted out as well. So a lot of the next year is going to be based on February, which is really hard to. This year is a very hard one to predict because I don't know what's going to happen in February. Interest rates is a strange one because originally I would have said this is going to cause a few problems because they keep going up quite a bit. Now, the interest rates as a whole is actually still at a really low number. Let's not forget that. They used to be a lot higher quite a few years ago. But they were just going on and adding quite a bit on just very fast. And the economy and even Trump was going, whoa, let's slow this down a little bit. And it seems like, I don't know what's happened because back in, I think it was October, they said that the interest rates need to go a lot higher before they'll stop. And then it came out like the last month in the last meeting that the Fed said that they're actually pretty much where they want them to be. So I'm not 100% sure why in a month so much has changed from them saying they need to go a lot higher to where they are about, they should be where they are now, because there's only been like one increase in between that time. So I don't understand that fully. I don't know if that's just protecting the economy or they've kind of gone, oh crap, we're screwing up a little bit here because we're putting too many on too quick. I don't really know what was going on with that one. So I'm not sure. I'm finding it really hard to trust what is going on with the interest rates. I don't really trust them that they've come out and now and said, oh, we're going to slow it down, they're about where they should be. I don't trust them to go, oh, that's all right then. I just kind of think, I don't know. I'm struggling on this one to know exactly what's happened on that one. Revenue missed. A worrying sign I always see is when companies start missing revenue slightly. That's an impact. I've seen this mentioned in a lot of earnings reports. A lot of revenue missed by companies. I think about 60-70% missed their revenue estimates in the last quarter, which is very high. A lot of companies are cutting guidance. That didn't help a lot. That's not always a great sign as well when companies start doing that. Job numbers have been really low for for so long now. There's a very high rate of employment. I don't really like how high it is. I'd like it to pull back a little bit from where it is. High job numbers, high employment means that there's more competition for people wanting to keep their employers, to keep the best employers, to get the best employees to their company, which means wage growth normally goes up. With wage numbers going up, we kind of have a lot of companies missing revenue, cutting guidance because they're paying the workers a lot more. It's a bit of a two-sided coin, really, is that, you know, it's great for everyone because you have more money. At the same time, it's bad for companies because they start missing your revenue, and your companies in your stock market portfolio don't do as well. It's always like a full circle, and it's a tricky one. I just like it to just come off the employment rate just a slight little bit. It's not a nice thing to say, but just to slow like the wage growth down. We don't want that jumping up too much. We want a nice healthy wage growth kind of going on. House sales have been shocking, like pretty much since April, I think it is. Hopefully they will recover, because we've seen a lot of housing companies, Toll Brothers for example, that I really like. I'm a fan of Toll Brothers, I'm a fan of the numbers, but they've really struggled because of the housing sales and the housing numbers that have been coming out. So that's something I'd like to see recover, and I think we'll recover towards the back end of 2019. Leisure companies have had a shocking year as well. I don't know if that's, you know, the economy slowing down, people not spending as much money. But when the leisure companies struggle, I'm always a little bit keeping an eye on that, because normally a sign of a good economy is when the leisure companies are doing really well as well, which isn't happening right now. So overall, how do I think the stock market is going to do in 2019? It's a hard one, because really I could do recording this video in February when I know what's going on with this. I'm going to do two here. So if the China trade war is sorted in February, overall we could be on for a good, I'd say 15% year on the S&P if the China trade war is solved. If this carries on through a lot of the year, like last year, there's quite a lot of companies still like really undervalued right now. So the China trade war carried on through 2019 could see the stock market grow about 5% S&P. So I think that's a little bit of difference. This is a big problem right now for us all that are investing in the stock market. Like I say, if we take this out in February, we could see the stock market go 15-20%. I would say if this carries on, I think we see a 5% year. But I don't see a crash coming just yet. We are in correction. Hopefully the correction recovers nice and healthy. But I don't see a crash yet. I just don't see the start of the stock market year for this year being as good as last year. I think the last 6 months of 2019 could be the better months if this is sorted out, for sure. And that's pretty much why I sold a lot of my positions, because I need the money just right now to just invest in a few things, which I talked about in the last video, talking about why I did that. And I think the gains might be in the second half of the 2019 rather than the first half going forward. But like I say, it's predictions, guys. It's really hard to do, and this video is a bit more of a fun than fact kind of thing. So I hope you enjoyed the predictions anyway. You let me know how you think the stock market's going to do. Give the video a like, subscribe. Thanks for your support recently, and I'll see you in the next video.